Sometimes the most dangerous words we say are the ones that sound harmless, not because they wound anyone else, not because they cause arguments or break relationships in obvious ways, but because they quietly bury the truth inside us. I'm fine. Two simple words: soft, polite, non-threatening. Words that sound steady, words that sound composed, words that tell the world nothing here needs your attention. And that's exactly why we use them. We say them without thinking, without pausing, without checking in with the part of ourselves that actually knows the answer. They slip out automatically like muscle memory, like something we've rehearsed so many times we no longer question it. I'm fine. But what we really mean is, I don't know how to explain what I'm feeling without crying. I don't want to be a burden to someone who already seems tired. I don't have the energy to open a door I might not know how to close. Or sometimes, I wish you'd notice without me having to ask. I used to say I'm fine most evenings, almost ritualistically, always around the same time. Standing in the kitchen, pretending to be busy with small, ordinary things that didn't matter. The kettle would boil, steam curling into the air, the quiet clink of a mug against the counter, the low hum of a home that looked peaceful from the outside, a home that felt functional, organized, normal. Someone I loved would glance over, not unkindly, not dismissively, just distracted, and ask, "You okay?" And I would answer just as lightly, "Yeah, I'm fine." What I didn't say was that my chest felt heavy, like something was sitting there pressing down slowly. What I didn't say was that my thoughts were loud, even in the quiet, that my mind replayed moments from the day that had made me feel small, overlooked, replaceable. I didn't say that my energy felt worn thin, that each interaction had taken a piece of me I hadn't had time to restore. I didn't say that I felt lonely while sharing a home, that I felt invisible in moments where I longed to be noticed, that I wanted comfort without having to justify why I needed it. I didn't say any of that, because saying it felt risky, because I didn't know if there was room for it, because I wasn't sure how much of myself was allowed to exist out loud without being labeled too much. So I smiled. I poured the tea. I kept my voice light, almost cheerful, and something inside me went quietly unheard. That's the truth about I'm fine. It doesn't mean nothing is wrong. It means something is wrong, but we're not sure it's allowed to take up space. Most of us learned this early, without realizing we were learning it. We learned that being low maintenance made life smoother, that being agreeable made us easier to love, that being emotionally contained made other people more comfortable. We learned that expressing too much sadness made rooms tense, that expressing too much need made people pull away, that expressing too much truth came with consequences. So we adapted. We learned how to swallow words before they reached our lips, how to soften our pain so it wouldn't inconvenience anyone, how to minimize our needs until even we started believing they were unnecessary. We learned how to call silence strength. I'm fine became our armor. At first, armor feels protective. It helps us survive. It helps us get through days without falling apart. It helps us keep things moving forward. But armor gets heavy when you never take it off, when you sleep in it, when you live in it, when no one sees the weight you're carrying underneath. There was one night I remember clearly. Nothing dramatic happened. No argument, no raised voices, no obvious breaking point, just quiet. We sat on opposite ends of the couch. The television flickered with something neither of us was really watching. Our phones glowed brighter than the connection between us. The room felt full, yet empty. Occupied yet distant. My phone buzzed with a message from a friend. "How are you really doing?" I typed, "I'm okay." Then I erased it. I typed, "I'm fine." Deleted that too. Finally I typed, "Honestly, I'm struggling a bit." I stared at the words for a long time before pressing send. My thumb hovered, unsure. That small honesty felt dangerous, like stepping outside without a coat into cold air, exposed, unprotected. When my friend replied, "Do you want to talk?" Something inside me cracked open, not because they fixed anything, not because they offered solutions or advice, but because they noticed, because they didn't rush past my truth, because they didn't make me feel dramatic for admitting it. They stayed present. That moment showed me something I hadn't wanted to admit. How rarely I let the people closest to me see that version of myself. The version that needed reassurance. The version that wanted to be emotionally held, not just physically near. The version that didn't want to be strong all the time. At home, I kept saying, "I'm fine." Outside, I was quietly hoping someone would read between the lines. In relationships, "I'm fine" often becomes a quiet plea disguised as composure. It's what we say when we don't want to fight, but we also don't want to disappear. When we're tired of being the one who always starts the hard conversations. When we wish love could be intuitive instead of intentional. It isn't manipulation, it's exhaustion. We don't always want to explain what hurt us, especially when the hurt comes from feeling unimportant. Because saying, "I feel overlooked," can sound dangerously close to saying, "You failed me." And that feels like opening a door we don't know how to close. So instead we say nothing, or worse, we say, "I'm fine." But silence has a way of growing roots. Unspoken feelings don't disappear. They settle quietly into the foundation of our relationships. They show up as distance, as irritability, as emotional withdrawal we can't quite explain. I've watched it happen slowly. Two people who love each other, drifting not because the love vanished, but because the noticing did. One stopped speaking honestly, the other stopped asking deeply, and both assumed the other was okay. There was a morning when it finally came out. Not in a calm, carefully constructed sentence, but in tears over something small, something insignificant. The kind of moment that catches everyone off guard. "What's wrong?" they asked. And for the first time, I didn't say, "I'm fine." I said, "I don't feel like you see me anymore." The room went quiet, not because the words were cruel, but because they were real. That conversation didn't magically fix everything. It was awkward, messy, uncomfortable, but it was honest. And honesty, even when it shakes things, creates a crack where connection can grow. That's what "I'm fine" often hides. A longing for connection without confrontation. A hope that love will notice before it has to be requested. We want someone to hear the tiredness in our voice, to notice when our smile doesn't quite reach our eyes, to feel the shift in our energy when we walk into a room. We want to be known without having to explain ourselves every time. But here's the quiet truth we don't always like to face. People are not mind readers. Even loving, attentive people miss things, not because they don't care, but because life is loud, because they're carrying their own weight, because silence often looks like strength from the outside. Love requires noticing, yes, but it also requires courage. The courage to say, "I'm not okay." The courage to admit, "I need a little more right now." The courage to replace "I'm fine" with something truer. That doesn't mean oversharing every emotion. It means allowing yourself to be human. And if you're the one who hears "I'm fine" from someone you love, listen beyond the words. Notice patterns, notice tone, notice timing. Ask again, gently, not as an interrogation, but as an invitation. "Are you sure? You seem a little distant. Do you want to talk? I'm here if there's something you're holding in." And then, stay. Don't rush to fix. Don't minimize. Don't turn it into a debate. Just stay. Because sometimes "I'm fine" isn't a wall. It's a door, barely cracked open, waiting for someone to knock softly enough. If you're the one who says it often, hear this clearly. Your feelings matter even when they're quiet. Your need for attention does not make you needy. Your desire to be noticed does not make you weak. It makes you human. You are allowed to take up emotional space. You are allowed to ask for reassurance. You are allowed to want presence, not just proximity. And if you've been holding everything together by pretending you're fine, maybe it's time to loosen your grip just a little. Not all at once. Not perfectly. Just enough to let someone see you. Because love doesn't grow in silence. It grows in brave honesty. In moments where we choose truth over composure. Behind "I'm fine" is often a heart whispering, "Please notice me. Please stay. Please don't pass me by." And sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to listen. And one moment of truth brave enough to be spoken. If this story felt familiar, if it echoed something you've been carrying quietly, you're not alone. This channel exists for moments like that, for the feelings we don't always say out loud. If you'd like more stories that explore love, silence, connection, and the words left unsaid, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the Heart's Archive, and share it with someone who might need to feel seen today. Until next time, be gentle with your heart. And remember, you don't always have to be fine.